the internet as a whole is framing culture to be black or white. There's no gray anymore. It's like, so you have to fall on either side of the spectrum, like Democrat, Republican, like, libertarians are kind of like non-existent anymore. You don't hear much from them.
Sure.
No offense to libertarians, but like, you guys got to talk louder, so it's like same thing with like, you either love avocados or you fucking hate avocados. It's not like, well, I put them on a salad every once in a while. It's like you either are an everyday poster or a once a week poster. Never waver.
Yeah.
And that's what most people, I think they're just afraid to put their opinion stamp down and be like, this is the way it is. Cause you might be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, that's your opinion.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I got a guest who helps people go viral on social media. His face is all over the internet. He just flew in from St. Pete, Florida. I got my man, Ryan Magin. Ryan, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place here, by the way. I have to give you credit. The studio is awesome. This building is awesome. And San Diego is just beautiful in general. So it's not hard to convince somebody to come here.
Dude, I appreciate you, man. And, this time of year, we got sunshine in San Diego and good vibes, man. We got our meetup tonight. You're going to be rolling out to our networking event. We got a new venue. Yep. So super excited for that, man.
I'm excited to be there. You got like 150 people coming. That's no easy feat. So I know that's it's a challenge to put that many people in one place. So it's not easy to do. So.
It is, but we've been doing it for 5 years now. It's San Diego's biggest real estate meetup. But when you do it monthly, like the consistency, and then have a fun meetup. Like I think our meetup, we don't do any sales, no pitching, there's no speaking. We just do straight networking, man. Which I think is like the true value of having a meetup.
Yeah, nobody wants to be pitched to, even on the internet.
No,
like, a lot of people mess that up.
Yeah, I got other meetups and there's like all this like formal pitching and people are all serious, but it's like, dude, it takes the fun out of it, man.
Just want to have some drinks and hang out.
Yeah. So you were in town here on the West Coast, and you recently met up with Jorge Contreras, who was a guest on the show a couple months back. Love Jorge. Were you guys shooting some content together? Yeah.
So I met Jorge, I want to say about 6 months ago, maybe. I met him through Ryan Pineda as one of our, we've worked with Ryan for a long time. We tend to go to a lot of Ryan Pineda events. Like shameless plug, I film a lot of videos outside of Ryan Pineda's event, and I get a lot of views. So it's worthwhile for me to come to them, even if I'm like, I've spoken at some of them. Even if I don't, I tend to really like the crowd he attracts. It's a lot of high level people. And I happen to meet Jorge. I don't even remember how we just got to talking, but I was like, yo, you seem fun. Let's make some videos. And we filmed a video from inside Pineda's office, I'm like out in front of it. And that video went on to like a couple million views. Then like, we were like, holy shit. Like, I was like, this is dope. Jorge, let's film. You going to the next event? And he's like, yeah, man. So we went out to the next Pineda event. We filmed more videos. None of them really topped that first one, but I happened to be filming with another client of mine, person I worked with in Orange County. And we were going to get coffee, I think. And then like, I look over and I see Jorge and a videographer just on the street interviewing people. And I was like, yo, and he's like, Brian. And I was like, let's film some more videos. And so we just literally in the middle of the street, like I walked across the street, I kind of skipped getting coffee. And ironically, that video right now has, I just posted today on my Instagram story. One of the videos we filmed together has done 5 million across all my platforms.
Wow.
So
what's the most amount of videos you've ever filmed while going to a live event?
I've gotten pretty solid. Like most amount of videos I filmed in a single day, for a client is 140.
Wow. Just literally back to back 140 videos.
You're filming. Unfortunately, due to NDAs, I can't say who that client is. But you would know him if you're on the internet.
How many hours does it take to film 140 videos?
Well, it was 2 people filming back to back. Okay. And it was roughly, honestly, it was more like 200. It was like 100 each. Like, there was some overlapping videos too. So it's hard to kind of like quantify that. But we filmed for about 6-7 hours total. We get when we film with somebody, it's very streamlined. Because we're filming strictly for short form, we're not filming long. Most of the video files are no longer than 3 minutes. So you can really do a video every 5 minutes. And when you're doing a video every 5 minutes, you can crank out a ton of them in it. If you're, you hit certain creative fatigue. I don't recommend you eat lunch. Like there's a few like hacks that we've kind of figured out to like extend the session. Like you get jacked up on caffeine or like whatever your stimulant is. Like I'm not here to judge. Some people you've used like Nicorette gum. Some people have used like vapes. Like I've seen some crazy stuff to keep them going, to keep the creative juices flowing. But it really comes down to like you do like sprints. So it's like 15 to 20 videos, chill for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, change your outfit or maybe change the set or angles or something so it doesn't all look the same. Fire out another 15 to 20, take a break, boom. Like, and that break can't be long, like 10, 20 minutes because you start getting tired. And yeah, just like it also depends on the filmer too. Like, are you good at speaking? Like, you have to be I would definitely say a subject matter expert. You can't be half-assing it. You can't be like, I kind of know this topic. It's like, no, you know the ins and outs of all these videos, or you have very strong opinions about all these subjects that is flowing. Cause you can't do that type of volume and script anything or teleprompter anything, or like, it's like you're off the cuff and we like to do 5 minutes of video. Cause it's like, we film some hooks, we film the meat of the video. We ask some supporting questions if we feel it needs it, if it needs some more context, and then boom. All right, next video. We usually send lists in advance of like, not too far in advance. Cause I don't want clients to get in their head. And it's been fortunate. Like, the lowest session we've ever had is like 80.
Wow.
And we film one video with 3 hooks for every video. So it's essentially like, if you get 100, which is like our benchmark, it's actually 300 variations. So it's like, when you're working with clients and we're posting videos at scale, that's enough to cover a pretty aggressive 90-day span. If we're posting a lot of videos every day and variations, plus they're on podcasts, they have live streams, like it's kind of like a culmination of both to where we can kind of post, for some of our clients, anywhere from 6 to 9 videos a day, just for that massive like viral effect. But myself personally with interview content, they go really quick. I probably spend 10 to 20 minutes with a single person unless I really like them and I know I'm going to get a lot of videos out of it. Cause I consider those interviews micro podcasts.
Yeah.
I just, I usually have formulated like in my head, like when I look at somebody, I have like 5 to 10 questions I just want to ask them. And then I kind of fire those questions out. And then it's like, well, can you give me more details about this, that, but for the most part, I'm not looking for like long answers. I'm looking for direct, like tactical breakdowns, step-by-step type stuff. So they usually come out pretty quick. But at an event, if I go to an event, like a Pineda event, he has like a whole week of events. I feel like he's like a grad.
I haven't been yet.
Like, yeah, it's like a Pineda week.
And he's cranking these events every 3 months.
Every 3 months. It's incredible what Ryan's done. Like, he puts 1,000 people in a room every 3 months, like, or more. They seem to still be growing based on the speakers he's getting. But yeah, like if I were, I'm probably going to film a little bit tonight at your event. A good night I'll film 30 to 40 videos tonight. Like just over the course of like 2 or 3 hours, and these are like, they're fun to me. Like, it's not like, I don't really have a number that I'm like going for. Cause I film so much that I have right now, like in a folder that my team is posting over 100 videos that are already done, ready to go. Like based on how much I've been filming over the last year.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of learned that from Gary Vee. He was like, the more you keep going, the longer you have in the bank. And then you throttle it up and back. If like, hey, we're growing with like 9 videos, like let's post 9. Like, so then it's like you're posting 9 videos a day. You need to have a lot of videos in the queue. So you need to film a lot. But it's like, all right, hey, let's chill out. Let's do like 2 videos a day. Like, let's stretch this. I'm burnt out. Like I need some recovery time, or I got like a bunch of travel coming up. So it's like, you got to kind of learn, like, and, we were talking prior to this. I'm like, I don't think people realize now, like, I think they're content creators first, business owners second. Like, if you want to make money from the internet, you have to understand that you make videos. There's no other way around it. Yeah.
Dude, that's so good, man. Because I think before the social media days, people focused on being the best entrepreneur, the best business person. But today, the best business person doesn't always make the most money. They don't always win in the end. It's mostly the best marketer wins the game, right? Because you can delegate a lot of the other stuff.
Or the most attention.
The most attention, the most eyeballs.
Most eyeballs on you at any given time. Like whether that's relevance or like, that's the word for it, relevance, like, or it's, sustaining a relevance if it's happening for long periods of time. Like, I just think people have it backwards. Like they come at it, like in my world, it's like creating a product and like having something to sell is the easiest part. Growing an audience to sell to takes years. Like, and it's like a long drawn out process. Like you can't do it quickly. Like, there are unicorns in the world, the people that have done it faster than others, but even still, it's like there was something leading up to these extreme blowups that maybe you don't know about. Like, people see me now for the last 2, like, all over the internet. Like I've been making videos for 12 years.
Yeah.
Like up until last year, I only had 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like I had zero, like my TikTok, it took me almost 600 or 700 videos to get to 100K. And it's taken me now almost 1,100 to get to 200, almost 300K. But the timeline, like it took me a year to get to 100K. It took me like 6 months to get to 200K. And it's taken me less than that to get to 300K. So it's like it compounds on itself.
So you see content creators like Ryan Pineda blow up over the last 2.5, 3 years. And you also see content creators who have been putting out content for multiple years. They might have 2,000 videos out there, and they're struggling to crack 1,000 followers. Mm-hmm. What is the biggest differentiator in your mind that separates those two folks?
Well, I think it comes down to the person themselves. Like if you've made a large amount of videos and you're not seeing like a growth, like a couple things are happening. One, you're not making content that can get enough reach to drive eyeballs to you. And this usually happens to the niche content creators that are in very small niches, as in like, we were talking like I sell apartments. Mm-hmm. There's a very small subsection of the world that buys apartments.
Yeah.
So if you're only making videos about that, that's the only people, like by design, the algorithm is only going to show that to people that have bought an apartment. That's like this many people, so the framing of this is like, you have to make content that can get spread more, that can get more reach. And this is where people kind of mess up. And then the second key is like, how do you speak? What do you look like on camera? Like, are you good on camera? Are you polarizing? Are you like, do you know your topic inside and out? Like, do you have strong opinions? Do you have strong beliefs? Do you have charisma? Like all of these things, you could take somebody that's like acting. Like there's reasons why somebody like Brad Pitt makes more money than, a reality TV star, or like, I mean, actually that's probably kind of switched. It's not a good example, but like Brad Pitt is like a great actor, but there's other actors that have failed. What makes Brad Pitt any different? One, he's really good looking. He's easy to look at. Mm-hmm. Like that matters. So like what you look like matters on camera. Same thing with like how he speaks, how he acts, like his charisma, his, his tonality. Like I think people have us mistaken because the internet wants you to believe that you can be authentic on your social media, but I don't think that's true. I think you have to be a character. Like, and that character can be directly related to what is authentic to you. I'm not saying that you should be somebody you're not. But like everybody has qualities about them that they can amplify, turn up the volume on, and stand out. And that's, you see that with all the people you follow, like somebody like a Cardone, a Hermosi, a Pineda, even yourself, like myself, like, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, all these people, The Rock, they are extreme individuals.
I agree. And I also believe like, you don't need to be the best looking person, but you need to have your thing. So like everyone has their thing. Like Hermosi's got the wife beater and the Crocs.
Yep.
Ryan Pineda's got the pink and the purple hair. Mm-hmm. Grant Cardone's got the private jets and he's always like flossing. So everyone's got their specific thing. And I think that's so important to branding. Mm-hmm. Like I think for me, I'm like, well, I got like tattoos and I wear like a ball cap and I invest in real estate. Most real estate investors traditionally are like old white guys that are rocking suits and ties, right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to embrace my style, but it's unique, you know? And so I think everyone just needs to find their thing, but I completely agree with you on the side of the content, to the idea that, hey, you could be someone that's pumping volume and struggle to grow. And on the flip side, you could have someone else that's not pumping a ton of volume, but they're growing a lot quicker. And I think it boils down to those two things that you just alluded to. If you are a busy professional and don't have time to invest in real estate, but still want to participate in the passive income and tax benefits, my team, Summers Capital, is buying a lot of boutique hotels right now. We source the deals, we renovate the properties, and we even do all the day-to-day management, making it truly hands-off for our investors. If you want to learn more to see if we can help you, go to summerscapital.com/invest to book a call with our team. Again, that's summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show.
Yeah, it's, generally you'll find like the people with the biggest personalities tend to have a lot of things to say and a lot of opinions. And whether people want to admit this or not, that are on the other side of this screen watching this interview, like the world is divisive. Like we see this, what we saw with the last political season was crazy. What we saw with that, that problem that we had for a few years where everybody like got unhealthy, like that was extreme. Like what we're going to see next year with more stuff coming is going to be extreme. So like the internet as a whole is framing culture to be black or white. There's no gray anymore. It's like, so you have to fall on either side of the spectrum, like Democrat, Republican, like, libertarians are kind of like non-existent anymore. You don't hear much from them.
Sure.
No offense to libertarians, but like, you guys got to talk louder, so it's like same thing with like, you either love avocados or you fucking hate avocados. It's not like, well, I put them on a salad every once in a while. It's like you either are an everyday poster or a once a week poster. Never waver.
Yeah.
And that's what most people, I think they're just afraid to put their opinion stamp down and be like, this is the way it is. Cause you might be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, that's your opinion.
Well, I think naturally, like as human beings, we're aware or self-conscious about what other people are going to think when we go to post stuff or when we go to do a podcast, and I think the more times you post, the more podcasts you do, the more comfortable you get just being yourself and just talking about whatever. For me, I always just like to have a free-flowing conversation, but I remember like the first time I've ever done a podcast, I was like, I was a little bit nervous. And that was a virtual podcast on Zoom. And then it was like, I remember the first time I did an in-person podcast, I was nervous. Now I'm like, okay, like I've, interviewed people like Grant Cardone and all these folks. I'm like, now I don't get nervous doing podcasts, but because I force myself to do them over and over and over. And then the same thing goes with, starting a business or investing in real estate, or doing these interviews. Same thing goes with all that.
You don't go walk into a gym and bench 315 on day one.
Mm-mm.
If you do, you're probably a freak and you should probably you should do something on social media because you have something that most don't. So it's a reps-based thing. And I compare a lot of things, like you're big into fitness. Like a lot of things are like, it's the discipline of doing something, and I commend people. Like if you have like, a couple thousand videos that you've made and you're not seeing results, like taking discipline out of the equation, you are very disciplined. Like, so nobody's questioning this anymore, but there's a strategy problem happening. Like something is wrong. Like you shouldn't, that's why I tell people, like, especially when it comes to going viral, it's like, it's a when, not if. And it's like, when it happens, it's like, okay, why did it happen? And let's look at it, let's dissect it, and then figure out how to multiply this same thing. And the internet, they respond to certain people in different ways. Like, and there's different personalities for all types of content. Like, and I'm not saying you have to shout and be overzealous like a Cardone. There's very monotone speakers and, more introverted personalities that do very well on the internet. But if you broke down, like, what do they have? It's probably very strong opinions on stuff or a confidence in what they're saying. And like that, you have to transfer that through the screen, which is hard to do. Like, and it's like, like they say the TV ad or the TV ad's 10 pounds. Like, it's like, I think you need to turn the volume up 10 levels to get through the screen. Like, cause you are competing with so many people. And that's another thing too. The saturation level of like short form content and just videos in general it's never been higher and it's getting worse. So it's like, we were talking earlier, like if you put 10 real estate professionals in a row, all saying the same thing, which is basically what you see on the internet now when it comes to realtors, like they're all saying the same thing. What is the difference between all those 10 people? It's their personalities. So it's like, okay, maybe one of them's a woman and she's attractive. Well, lean into that. Maybe another guy's a muscular guy. Lean into that. Maybe the other one is very charismatic and direct with what he says. Like every person has different qualities that they can amplify in themselves. Mm-hmm. But you can't do that without the flip side. And the flip side is what you're saying most people are afraid of. It's like, it's the criticism, it's the comments, it's the, you might offend somebody, or your parents might get mad at you, or your coworkers might not like what you said, or your fiance or girlfriend might be like, why'd you say that on the internet? Like there is a flip side, which is like nobody talks about.
And you're never going to, please everyone. Right. No. And I think eventually you as you grow, you start to get a little numb to all those comments. Cause I feel like, for every 10 bad comments, you get 1,000 good ones. Right. Yeah. And there's always going to be haters out there. But I think for anyone that has negative comments or any haters out there, it's like, well, it's probably a sign you're going the right direction. You're doing something right.
I see it as I get like 1,000 bad and 10 good. I'm like, hey, your comment section must be better than mine. But it's like, I expect, like, when you're doing content, like, I mean, I try my best to trigger and go and get views. Like, I also want to educate with everything I say. And I know if I trigger somebody the right way and I get their attention, it allows me the time to educate them. It allows them to keep watching the video because they're mad at me and they might understand what I'm trying to say. Now that doesn't always work. That's why you get some bad comments. But the act of like getting somebody to stop and pay attention to you, like is an art and a skill in itself right now. And it's like, if you're not getting hate, you're not reaching enough people.
Mm.
Like you don't like.
No one knows you.
Nobody knows you. And
Yeah.
like, or you're just not that opinionated on something. Like, and that's, I think the people, people like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, like The Rock, like, The Rock surprisingly gets a lot of positive. The world just loves The Rock. But like, there's these people that they get a lot of attention, and it's like you either get that division, you get a lot of hate, but you get a lot of love too. But the people that love you, they're not the ones commenting.
Mm.
They're just buying your courses. They're coming to your events. They're leaving you. They're sending you DMs. They're liking your videos. Like they're sharing your videos. Like it's more of the people that like you are in silent, and the people that hate you are like speaking their mind. But there's not a single viral video that we've ever produced where half the comments, if not 3/4 of the comments, were all negative. And like if I post a video and the first like 5 comments are people that are mad at me, I'm like, there's the money.
Yeah.
We're going viral.
Well, they say, bad news is good attention as well. What's the key to making a viral video?
I mean, the key is, again, like what we talked about. I mean, first it comes down to the topic. Like, are you making a video that can even reach 1 million people? And our benchmark for viral is 1 million views. Generally speaking, it's in 24 hours. Like if we get that, like, you have in my opinion, a great video. And we've done this, in my company over 1,000 times, and we continue to do it like 30 to 50 times a month consistently. So
you have all this data on how to do it.
Yeah. And that it really comes down to the topic. Like if you nail the topic as far as broad enough reach to where it can reach 1 million people, and then it's like, okay, so that's like check mark 1. So like we have something that can go this far. Then it's like, okay, what am I saying in the first 3 seconds? They call that the hook, and everybody makes videos about great hooks, but none of them really understand great hooks. Like, you can say a lot of dumb things in 3 seconds to get people to stop, but that's still not going to get you a viral video. Like that just gets people to watch past 3 seconds. So like we kind of break the hook down into like 3 different things, which I think are important. And if you look at most all viral videos, they have 3 things happening in the first 3 to 5 seconds. Number 1 is like the person speaking it is speaking it in like a commanding fashion. Like, so they're forcing you to kind of hear them. So that's like the audio hook,
Mm-hmm.
Then you got a visual hook. Like what is happening in the first 3 seconds? Like as far as like, are they doing something? Are they holding something? Are they like pointing at the camera? Is there like some B-roll? Are they doing something weird? Are they wearing something that's interesting? Like that's like the second one. That's like the visual hook. And then you have like, the text hook, which is like what is written on the screen, because some people still listen to their videos with the volume off. So like, are they reading that too? So you have to hit all the senses in the first 3 seconds. And then there's like the little 4th component, which the 4th component is what is said from 3 to 6 seconds to keep people watching the rest of the video. Because that's like a transition, So it's like, not only is it like making sure you say the right thing in the first 3 seconds, it's like, what am I saying next? Or what is my editor going to put next to make this make sense to keep somebody watching? And if you nail that, then you go viral every time, and then there's there's 2 types of like, there's entertainment content and educational content. Most of the people we work with is educational. And in most cases, the rest of the video is a very well broken down tactical piece of advice that somebody can watch this video and immediately apply to themselves. If it's more entertainment purposes, like we've worked with a lot of prank channels and stuff, like it's generally pretty funny or unique or crazy or like there's something happening.
Yeah.
But like most of our, like I've only worked with one girl with a prank channel in the past. We grew her account. Her name's Adley Stump. Like me and actually this is before I had a team. I took her account from 0 to 1 million followers in 6 months, but she was doing like extreme scripted pranks. And it like blew my mind on like what's possible for views. And that was where we kind of formulated, like I edited so many videos for her and got so many views that I'm like, how can I replicate this with education? Because I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to like
go prank people.
Yeah,
at the gas station.
Yeah, I'm not going to microwave my underwear or like, throw a coffee on my friend at Starbucks and pretend that she cheated on me with my boyfriend or something. Like a lot of these were, but it was like the proximity of what you see is like, wow, like I had this belief now because like I edited one video for her that did 48 million views.
Wow. 48.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I've also seen, and that single video gained her 600,000 followers. I'm like, 600,000 people followed a fake prank. It made no sense to me.
Yeah.
you know?
I like one thing that you said, though. You said a lot of it depends on what the editor is going to put next.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, when they're starting to shoot the short form, they're just thinking, okay, I'm going to shoot a 45-second video, and how it comes out is how it's going to come out. But like, we're doing this now since we brought the content in-house, and, you know, with Parker in here with us, now we're taking clips from content, whether it's long format podcast or whether it's short form, and then we're cutting out any like lull points in the middle of the video. And we might even take a 15-second fire segment in the beginning of a podcast, and then take a 10-second segment in the middle and another 10 at the very end, and we'll mesh them together. And it looks like it's free flowing, and it's like a bunch of like heavy hitting points. And that gives us the best chance to go, versus if we just took that 1 minute clip from the beginning that started off great and then it just kind of died off. Well, it's like, dude, you're kind of like wasting that one shot that you have, you know? And so that's why I think the editing is so important.
Yeah, I would agree. I have a team of 9 full-time video editors. Like we edit on average 100 videos a day, like through my team. Like, you know, we post 100 videos a day. We edit like 50 or so. But like a good editor, I'm like an advocate for video editors. Like, I am a video editor. I got this, how I'm even sitting in this chair is because I started editing my own videos to get views, and I started editing other people's videos to get views. But I always came from the mindset, which I don't think most editors have, of the mindset of a marketer. Like, this is getting attention. Like, you are orchestrating. It's a puzzle for attention and retaining somebody's attention. And like, if you like, I would spend 80% of my time on like Adley's videos, re-editing the first 10 seconds to try to get the perfect flow to get past that 10 seconds. Because it's like, if you can get like, even a long form YouTube video, like Mr. Beast has talked about numerous times, like they put so much emphasis on the first minute, because that, if you can't get them past that, they're not going to make the rest. And usually if you get them through that first chunk, they're more invested to watch the whole thing. And the problem with editors, you know, I think people wildly undervalue them and wildly underpay them, quite frankly, because of, you know, outsourcing and like the fact that, yes, you can go to the Philippines and get a video edited for $5 an hour. And it's like, yeah, but like that editor doesn't know shit about American culture. He doesn't know how to spell things. Everything's going to be freaking wrong. Like the clip's going to have no context. Like, so it's like, and that's what you're seeing people do. They're like, you know, and a lot of other, like I run a short form agency, like, you know, and I would consider we're the best at what we do. Like, cause I optimize for views. Like, never am I optimizing for an edit. Like, and I think editors have that wrong too in their framing and their mindset. Like, yeah, I can take that and edit it. It's like, no, like I can get you more views based on how I edit. And you see people like they're starting to pitch themselves that way. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, show me videos that you've made that have gotten this types of views, you know, and most editors don't have that. And it's, you know, it's a play, because it takes a lot of guts to say, you know, like when I started my agency, like I would say, if I, you know, one of my pitch to some of my biggest clients when I started, one of which was Cardone, I said, I would, you know, if I don't get you 100,000 followers in the next 90 days, I will edit for free until I do. And I knew to get 100,000 followers, I had to make him go viral 10 times. Because back then, if I got 1 million views, I could pretty much guarantee 10,000 followers. So I had to orchestrate 10 viral videos over 90 days. And I was going to hit that number. And I had done that for 7 other clients, like after him. And that was my pitch. I would not make that same pitch now, because it's significantly harder to get 100,000 followers, because this is 2 years ago when TikTok was a lot less saturated. But that was like, and I was like, just don't pay me if I don't get this, but I'm going to keep working until I do. And then we'll just start billing again.
What was it like working with Cardone?
I mean, we still do. Cardone's amazing. He's probably the most low maintenance client that I've ever.
Slow what?
He's the most low maintenance person.
Oh, just chill,
like I talk to his team a lot, like Alan and Jared. We do Jared's as well. You know, for the most part, they check that. My goal for them is like, every time you look at that account, if it's getting views, you're happy with me. You know, and I'm talking real views. I'm talking like, fucking these things are going viral. Like, you're getting massive exposure. And that's what I've always focused on. You know, when I only fear talking to a client, and I say fear, it's like you have to have hard conversations. Like, you know, but I'm always like, oh God, I'm uncomfortable. I know I got to take a bad phone call if the account's doing bad, you know, and this happens to everybody. Like, your account will not do good for the next 10 years. Like, you're going to have ups and downs, and, you know, it's having those hard conversations. But again, it's like, this is what we're doing to fix this, you know, and like in Cardone's instance, like, you know, I've had those conversations with his team. Hey man, we need to make some changes. This is what we're doing. Like, cause it happens. Like, things get saturated, things stop working, you need to change. Like, and that's another thing, like editors don't change.
Yeah.
Like they're like very rigid types of people. Like, you know, when I started the TikTok agency, you know, what became like a style that everybody emulated, like it was because people's accounts weren't doing well because I was just clipping them from YouTube. And I was like, yo, we need to film in person. Like these videos are missing context. Like they need to be more complete. Like this is a great video, but you're speaking too damn slow. We need to condense this message into a minute. Like, so I was flying to people and like filming, you know, when we started, it was like 50 videos, 60 videos, like, and then we just kept working on that process. And now it's like, you know, it's much harder to get a podcast clip to go viral than it is if I just sit down and talk to my camera. Like, and I know that, and I know that I can orchestrate videos with clients to portray that, because not that we're ever telling them to say anything they don't, you know, we never put words in anybody's mouth. Like,
right.
It's just like, hey, if you say this way, based on what we've seen, it's going to work better. Or like, hey, I need more detail on that. How much did that cost? Or like, where'd you buy that?
But also like when you're shooting a podcast, like we're filming a podcast right now, it's like you get one take, right? And so, you know, you can have you talking points and topics and ask the right questions, but you get one take.
Yeah.
If you're filming, talking to the camera, you can have 100 takes to just get it perfect.
Yep.
And that 100th take might be the reason why it goes versus the first take, right?
Hey guys, real quick, the only way this podcast grows is if you guys share it and review the show. So if you do find value, if you could take 2 seconds and drop a 5-star on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it would mean the world to me. But more importantly, it will help us reach new audiences and help more people build wealth through real estate investing.
And I mean, it's also too, it's like, you know, like my goal with podcasts, like, is like, I look at somebody's podcast I'm going to go on and I look at some of their most viewed videos and I'm like, I want to beat that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I think that there's also a skill set that the bigger content creators, the people that have, you know, 100,000 followers, I think they understand it subconsciously that like you're a speaker. Like it's how you speak. Like, so like, and we call it speaking TikTok. Like I speak very direct. I speak in short sentences. I speak, you know, I try to pack as much detail as I can as quickly as possible because I know I only got one shot of this podcast. So like, I want one of these clips to do good because if one of these clips that we pull out of here gets, you know, it does 1 million views on my account or even your account, you're probably gonna want me to come back. You're probably gonna tell your friends, like, and it's awesome. Like, it's like, who doesn't want that? It's like, you're gonna get followers. I'm gonna get followers. Like, the podcast is gonna get exposure.
Attention is the new oil money.
Mm-hmm. Like, so that's why, like, I have made it a mission. Like, even now when I film and when I go on podcasts to like, I don't really put the pressure on my editing team anymore. Like, I just want to speak perfect. And I know that's like, obviously that's a high pressure and like perfect is a very, you know, like very unclear term.
Yeah.
But like, if I can formulate my thoughts in the right way, ideally you don't have to edit this shit at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm still going to get the views.
Absolutely. So with that, I want to switch gears here a little bit because you have such a unique background. A lot of like crazy little stories in here, dating stories, losing money, street racing, selling dick pills, losing your driver's license for over a year, pro BMX rider. But anyways, with that, I want to do some more rapid fire stuff with you and get a little weird with it for the listeners. But what's the craziest dating story you ever have?
Ooh, craziest dating story. Well, actually, how I met my fiance was what most people today would consider like how I met my fiance today would call me a simp. But I think it was just creative and fun. Like I had moved into like my fiance hated me at first. I moved into an apartment complex. I started making money selling the said dick pills. And I thought I was invincible. And I was like I was partying every night, buying bottle service, not saving a fucking penny, like just blowing all my money. Like
what's the most you ever spent on bottle service?
Ooh,
one night.
9,000.
9,000?
Yeah.
Where was it at?
It was Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's been multiple instances. Like back then it was like the money was a little less, but I mean, the 9,000 was like kind of an investment. Like I didn't really consider that a bad spend, like that ROI'd, you know? So it's like, it was because of people we were with, like building those relationships. But like back then when I was doing that, it was like, if I spent $2,000 in St. Petersburg downtown, I was really trying to be an asshole, you know? So like, and that the average was like 600 to $1,000 when I would go out. But my mindset was like, at the time when I met my fiance, like I was making like $1,000, $1,500 a day. So it was like, literally, I was like, I'm going to wake up in the morning, my account's going to refill. It's like, this is amazing. It's like magic. And that's the kind of the framing I had when I met my fiance, and I moved in on top of her at like what was considered luxury apartments in our downtown area. And it was the first time I lived on my own. I came from living with my parents. So like I had a Bose surround sound that like my dad, like I kind of took from my dad, and I was like, hey dad, I'm going to take this, because he was traveling a lot. And I had the subwoofer on the floor.
Okay.
Didn't realize it, that it was like vibrating through the floor straight into her apartment. And I'm like, and I wasn't even partying. I was just like showering. I had my music turned up, like having fun pre-gaming with, you know, with some of my friends, and like get an angry knock on the door. I was getting like, for weeks, a complex was complaining, like they were calling, like, and I was like, I couldn't understand why. And, you know, so she like, you know, I get a knock on the door, I open the door, and it's my fiance, and like, my now current fiance, she's like standing there, and I said, who are you? Like, hi, how can I help you? Like, she's like, I work at 4:00 in the morning, 5 days a week. I'm a nurse, and you keep me up every night.
Oh.
Can you please take whatever speaker or whatever you're doing and turn it down? And she was pissed. Like, and all I could say was like, I'm sorry, but you're very pretty. Like, and then like, she just was like, ugh, and like walked off and went back to her apartment. And then I realized what happened when she said vibrating, like the floor, like I was like, oh shit, it's a subwoofer. So I moved it off the floor and problem solved. Now I'm not an asshole anymore. But then I started seeing her out all the time. So I kept sending her drinks, like, you know, and then like one night I took like a poster board, because she would sometimes like go out on her patio, like a little patio, and I had the patio above her. So I tied a string and a poster board, and I was like, want to get wine on the rooftop? Yes or no? And she actually said yes.
So that was the first date.
And that was like, well, what, like, that was like the start. Like we were also like, that led to like, oh, I'm meeting some friends up on the rooftop, because we had like a community rooftop, like a lot of apartments have. So like I had a friend that lived in the building, and we went up, cook steaks, and her friends were there. But we found out we had a lot of mutual friends that we didn't realize. And then we went on a date, and that was 12 years ago.
So that's how you go from noise complaint to date to now fiance.
But we did break up for a year, which is where a lot of the dating stories come from.
Okay. What did you do during that year?
Well, during that, we broke up for a year. It was about a year, roughly. Again, I kind of had like a personality crisis. Like I was just off being a professional BMX racer, and I was kind of quitting, and I had figured out the internet, and I was doing like selling, like, you know, I was selling black hat things, like, you know, I would run Facebook ads to like testosterone boosters and like, you know, cheap Viagra, and like you could, like, the thing was, is you could give, if you convince somebody to get a free trial, the company billed their card 30 days later for a full dose bottle if they didn't cancel. So it wasn't illegal. It's just people don't read the fine print. And so like somebody like me, if I'm just driving traffic to that, giving away free trials, the company was paying me like $100. So like for every lead, I got $100. So I was just sending as much traffic as I could. I was running Facebook ads. I was doing SEO'd websites. I was just fucking piling viewers into these things, and, you know, making a lot of money. Well, that just kind of collapsed one day. It stopped working.
How?
A lot of my stuff was coming from SEO. I was doing what they called sniper sites, which is you would buy an exact match domain name. So for example, one of my most successful sites was Jersey Shore Abs. .org or .com or I forget what I had so many. I had over
That's
5.
That's great clickbait.
Yeah, I had like literally, this is right when the Jersey Shore was starting, so it was like huge popularity, and there wasn't a lot of competition. I also had thesituationworkout.com, .net, and .org. I bought all 3, built 5-page websites, wrote sales copy, and like I would rotate out the products that I was selling through these articles. And I did have a background in fitness, so like the article wasn't bad. It was like hypothetically what he would do to have abs. I don't fucking know like what he does to get abs, but this is like, if you did this, you'd probably get abs, you know. But all throughout it was linked to whatever affiliate product made me the most money. And these sites, if you typed in like Jersey Shore workout, Mike Sorrentino abs, like these websites would pop up every week, and like they would just drive all this traffic. So every time the Jersey Shore would air on like Thursday night, I would make it like, you know, a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
Like with like, and so like then saw the opportunity. I hired.
There was no trademarking or like branding, like
no, they
repercussions
said,
for that.
I got a few cease and assists from MTV.
Really?
But because I registered the domain before the show started, and you couldn't cease and assist the situation.
So you kind of beat them to the punch a little bit.
But they were trying aggressively to get the site taken down. They actually offered to buy the site because he created his own workout DVD. But it wasn't. They like lowballed the shit out of me.
How much did they offer you?
I think it was like 10 grand.
Okay.
I was like, this site makes like 2-3K a week. Like, I'm not going to give it away for that. Like, this is stupid.
In today's age, he would have paid you $1 million.
Yeah, probably. I mean, well, he didn't pay any taxes either. So like, he had his own problems he was dealing with. But I mean,
what did he go to jail for?
I think like massive tax evasion.
Yeah, he spent like,
I think he took the
pen?
rap. Like, I think he got like, although I did profit off his name, like I think he's hilarious. I think the guy was great. That's why I made the site. I like I was generally a Jersey Shore fan. Like I watched the show. Like
I watched it too.
Yeah. And so I mean, I think his partner like fucked him big, like with accounting and taxes and like fraud and stuff.
Because he spent it wasn't like a week.
It was like 2 years,
like
I think.
2 years in the pen.
Yeah.
Damn,
and now he's back doing Jersey Shores, which I think is great. So I still wish I had the site, but yeah, I had over 500 sites like that. And that was
500.
Like, yeah.
How do you manage 500 websites?
Well, they were set and forget. Once you cut, because Google ranked based on the domain, like that was where all the power was coming. If I could get the exact search phrase in a .com, .net, or .org, I would hit top 5 in Google just from that. And that's how SEO was back then. Like, it's not like that now. So like some of my other sites, like I had increasedtestosteronenaturally.org. Like, and that was like what I called like a hub site. So like I would write a lot of articles for that site. And I built it out to where it was like, there was 1,500 articles on that site. And it was doing like, I want to say it was like doing 1,000 visitors a day. It was generating like $30 to $50 a day with affiliate sales. And I ended up selling that site for 10 grand.
Wow.
Like, so like it was a legit business for a little while. But I spent all my time searching for the domains. And then I had like SOPs for all the sites, and I would send that through Elance. I had a few Filipino workers that were, they work for a lot cheaper over there. And I think a site would cost me like $30 start to finish with the domain, like $10 a year for the domain plus like 30 to get the site made. And then I would go in because I templatized the articles, and I would put the main article, like, because whenever you land on the site, I needed to see one main article. And those were varying based on what products I was selling. And that's like, so that was all sales copy. So the better that article was on all these sites, the more money I made. And I found a few products that significantly outperformed all the other products. So I tailored all this to that. And like, I was building 3 to 5 sites a day for a long time.
That's crazy.
Like, and then and then Google changed their algorithm, which is like, explain that to be like, I went broke really quick because that was when I just didn't save anything. It just wasn't
dropping $9K at the on the bottle service.
Like just blowing money at bottle service in Vegas with like, and this is like, I'm 40 now. This is like,
did you don't look it though?
I was hormones.
I was trying to figure out how old you were. We were chatting before the show.
40.
I was like, is this guy 31 or is he 40?
I know, I like TRT. But yeah, like this is like, I was 26, 27 years old. Like I was making like 1,000, 20, 30K a month. Like I didn't have a care in the world. I was like, I had those pro athlete vibes, which were kind of like, I would say risk it all kind of mentality. And, I like to party, so when the sites collapsed, which they did overnight, Google changed their algorithm and I went from making $1,000 a day to $100 a day. Like it was like depressing time. And
what's your favorite nightclub?
I like the beach clubs. Encore Beach Club is probably my fave.
You like the day parties?
The day party, as I've gotten older, I like the day parties.
Yeah.
From a bottle service standpoint, it's more beneficial or it's more economical to buy bottles at strip clubs because they want you to be there anyways. As long as you can control your male personality and not blow all your money in the back room with like, that's not a good investment no matter where you go. Like most strip clubs in Vegas, you can get a bottle for like $400 to $600.
Yeah.
Like, and I use bottles like that.
But there's not like organic woman that you can meet inside the place where working females work, right?
No. I mean, it's more dudes. Like, it's like, it's the seminar type, like, which they're going to go. Like, I've just found that if you can facilitate a party when you go to an event, generally you are remembered more from that event, and that's where like, if you're the guy that's buying the bottle, then you're the guy facilitating the party. And it's just up to you. Like, can you budget this? Like, I would never tell anybody to do this if it's going to make them go broke. Like, you know, $400 to $600 is not going to make me go broke if I blow that in a night. Just trying to be like, if I find out you're like, you know, you're here, you know, hey, let's go to, you know, I think there's Omnia or like something here. Like, hey, you want to go to Omnia Friday night? I'll get a table. Like, it's more to build a relationship with you. You know, it's not necessarily like, you know, I'm not going to go there to chug the bottle like this. It's to like, you know, we have a space. Like, if you know, and if you don't do that often, like, and you come later, you're going to get walked in. It's like the whole VIP experience. It's like, you know, and it's more memorable, you know? So it's like, you know, but that doesn't mean, it could be also like, I would buy a round of drinks for 3 or 4 people that are with me, you know, like I've just always used partying to facilitate networking. And it's tend to ROI for me more times than it doesn't, you know? And so I had that mentality and I was making that money. And then like, you know, my fiance was going through, she was actually really excelling in her career. Cause she's very like
she's in nursing.
She started in nursing now, and then she specialized in dialysis. She was so good at dialysis that she started managing a single dialysis clinic. Then the doctors that own that dialysis clinic plucked her to manage all of their clinics because they had, right now she manages 17 clinics over the state of Florida. You know, she does multiple 6 figures a year. My fiance, like she's incredible. Like she's a badass. Like, but she was on that trajectory and all my shit was failing. Like I was like depressed, angry, couldn't afford rent now. Didn't know what to do. Like I was like this angry chip on my shoulder athlete who had like, you know, I was just angry. Like, you know, and like I had, not saying that things were easy for me, but like I didn't know where, I had to change myself and I didn't know where to go. And like, unfortunately we broke up because I was a toxic person. Like I wasn't like a good person back, you know, in that time. Like I think I was great prior to that. Like, you know, but we broke up for a year and I moved in with my friend Danny. I slept on a fucking air mattress for a while. I think I had like, you know, when it moved out, I think I had like $5,000 left.
Wow.
That I did save a little bit, you know, just in case, you know, but like, and I was still making little money. It just wasn't $1,000 a day anymore. You know, it was just like, okay, it was like $400 or $500 a week, you know? So I was like, okay, this is enough to live. Like, I'm not going to, I live in St. Pete.
You took a break from the bottle service.
Yeah. I mean, ironically, me and Danny still went out. Danny is my degenerate friend. So it probably wasn't good that I moved in with Danny. You know, but during that time, I was like, I needed to reinvent myself. And I didn't know if I wanted to get back with my, you know, with Kristen's, you know, my fiance's name. I didn't know if I wanted to get back with her.
Shout out Kristen.
Yeah. I was like, I just wanted to better myself. And I was like, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I look like a fucking degenerate who looks like he's going to rob a convenience store. I did not look like somebody who figured out loopholes and like all this website shit to like make $1,000 a day. And like, you know, I was very intelligent on that front, but I looked like a dumbass in my opinion. People probably like, he looks a dumbass now, but like, you know, I looked way worse back then. So I found style and fashion. I started looking on YouTube for like how to change your style. Like I didn't know what to Google for that. And like, and fucking Aaron Marino, I Am Alpha M popped up. And then Antonio Centeno, Real Men, Real Style popped up. And I was like, I started watching their videos and I was like, yo, this makes sense. Like your first impression matters, like dress nice, you know? So I started like, I took the $5,000 that I still had and I spent most of it on a wardrobe. Like I redid everything. I completely changed, you know, I didn't buy a bed. I still had the air mattress. This is like the taller air mattress. So like, I didn't care. Like, and I was like, let me go buy, you know, let me get a tailored suit. Let me go get some nicer dark jeans. Let me go, you know, let me get some button ups that are fitted. Like, you know, I just started like building a wardrobe and then I started going out because I was a single guy now. And like, I would go out a lot. Like I still enjoyed going out, but I wasn't going out to drink. I was going out because like, I just didn't have anything else to do because I was single now. But what I started realizing was a lot of girls would approach me depending on how I was dressed. And then I started like, oh, if I wear this to this bar, this type of girl will approach me. And that did lead to, you know, a lot of nice evenings, you know.
So what is the like, let's say someone's single and they have $5,000 to their name. Would you say to drop that $5,000 on appearance and clothing?
I mean, if you're an extreme personality, maybe yes. Like, I mean, I had money coming in. Like, I knew that this wasn't going to make, like, I had not a lot, but like I had enough residuals that I was like, okay. And I was paying like $1,000 for rent. And like my living expenses went from like, you know, a lot to a little real quick, moving in with my friend. So I needed something extreme, like, and that I've always resonated with that. Like if I like something and I want to do something, I go all in and I don't stop. Like I buy the courses, I buy the books, I learn, and then I fucking, and I act. And that's what I did. But I didn't go buy like the expensive stuff either. I went to like H&M, I went to Zara, I went to like all this. So I got more for my money. Now I shop differently, like, because I still care about my appearance. But it was like, then it was just like, I need to try a lot of stuff to find my footing and then see how this works. And
that's a nice Louis bag that you rolled in with, by the way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
That's my good backpack. That's my gym bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I've gotten more calculated with what I buy now. But then I was just like, I needed to figure out my own personal style. But I didn't want to lose who I was, because I still liked who I was. I liked my past. I liked my extreme sports vibe. And, I also had like some deep insecurities that like Kristen had left me for doctors. So doctors wear suits. So I was like, how can I wear a suit and not look like a doctor? So that's where I found like the more like, oh, I can wear, I can dress in dark jeans and a shirt and like a knit tie with a leather jacket. It kind of looks like a suit, but it's got like a rough edge to it. The problem was I was doing this in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is 100 degrees out. So like I was going wildly overdressed to these local bars, which was getting me a lot of attention from that. But I also started going to, I was lonely and I was like, what do I do? So I was friends with a lot of people that made money on the internet. So there was events. So I was going to like other events, and I run into people I hadn't seen in a while. They're like, yo, I love this new look on you. Like, and they started asking me questions about like, why did you wear this? Or what should I do here? What should I buy this? Should I buy a suit? So I started answering all these questions based on what I had learned from the internet. And then I was like, and all the people that were attracted to me were like single guys. And I was like, well, shit, maybe I should make a YouTube channel and teaching guys how to get laid by how they help them get laid by how they dress. And that became Handsome Guy Secrets. And like all those videos are still on the internet today. And I started that while me and Kristen were broken up. In about 6 months, I had about 15,000 subscribers. Aaron Marino and Antonio Centeno had brought me to speak at one of their events because I'm a marketer. So I had digital products. Yeah. So I was selling digital products to make money based on the small following. One of my successful products was 7 outfits to make her want to fuck you.
I love that.
And it was a great product. $7.
And what's included with that product?
It was a 7-page PDF with 7 photoshopped outfits and where to buy Amazon links. But to give you guys the one outfit, it was like black jeans, black or gray tee, like a leather jacket or a denim jacket, and nice boots or like some sneakers. Like that was like the outfit. And I had different variations of that set outfit in there. And, while I look back, I'm like, that was kind of stupid. Like it helped. Like I sold like 12,000 copies of that.
I love that. Well, you identified a problem that a lot of guys have, or they're trying to improve at, is like, pulling girls or dating. What's your favorite outfit to wear to a nightclub?
I pretty much dress like this all the time now, because I also found out that like if you're buying tables, rules don't apply. Yeah. To a degree. Like, I'm not saying you can do like shady stuff and like, rob people and steal, but like, dress codes tend to get looser.
Like I get bottle service when I go in, and like we usually get like there's a local club here called Bloom. And we usually roll in right before the main DJ comes on. We get the booth right next to the DJ. Yep. But it's like, dude, they let me rock my hat. They let me, it's very, very chill with the dress code because of that.
I mean, I used to have like, I like to dress like good. And like, I probably wouldn't be wearing sneakers if I was going out to a nightclub. Like I would wear, or they would be like, I like designer. Now I have a lot of golden gooses. So it's like, it would be like a sneaker, but a designer sneaker. I also like boots. Like I like Doc Martens. I like, just like wingtip boots. Like if I was really, I would probably, if it's more of a business thing, like I have a bunch of like fitted like black button ups, I'd wear just denim and a button up. If it's chilly, I'll wear, I have 2 leather jackets. I have a black denim jacket, like same as what I would just, say. But like, I've also found that like, like stupid stuff, like wearing a hat. Like if you buy a table, you can wear a hat. Yeah. Right. If you don't buy a table, they're like, take your hat off, right. Like shit like that. It's just like, and that's not everywhere, but it's also like, I'm more of a fan of like the luxury pool vibes now. I love that style. Like I live in Florida. So it's like, I spend 90% of my time in sleeveless shirts and short shorts. The other 10% is when I'm traveling and I'm wearing things like this. Cause it's like, I can wear this in California. I can't wear like right now. I would not be wearing pants in Florida. It's fucking awful. Like I wear Chubbies 5.5-inch shorts. Like And
I saw your quad video that you put out yesterday.
That's what I wear.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just so happens to get more views on the internet. But the fashion thing led me me and Kristen rekindled. And, we were back together and I was still doing this and I was achieving, I would say moderate success selling products on the internet and like having a YouTube channel. But we found out, she got pregnant and I was about to have a girl. And I was like, shit, I don't really want to be doing this anymore. Like, I can't with good faith wake up and go teach guys how to get laid with how they dress when like I am engaged now. I have a daughter on the way.
Congratulations.
Like, this is like,
at the time.
Yeah, at the time, this was like, and I was just like, do I really want like, and that was when like, I was just like, you know what? Like, I just stopped. Like, I just abandoned it all. Like, and I again, it's like, I do that. Like, I'm very extreme. Like, it's like, all right, I'm done.
All or nothing.
Done.
Yeah.
And then but if I did not do that, I then went on to create what is now a short form industry. And I've generated since then, almost $2 million on the internet. So it's like,
what's the most amount of money you made in 1 month?
Almost 200.
Wow.
Like, it was a mixture between my agency services and we started a coaching program. It was roughly the agency side did, I think, it might have been the month before. I might be mixing up months, but it was like 120 on the agency side. And it was, I think, 50 or 60 cash collected on the coaching side. And
it's all driven by your content.
Yeah, it's all driven by non-niche videos.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. So
what's the biggest financial mistake that you've ever made?
Well, that would be my 2001 F-150 Lightning that I bought when I worked at Lowe's Home Improvement. I was selling doors and windows. It's a sport. This is the non-electric version for the internet that doesn't understand that cars were made before 2023. This was the supercharged Triton V8. It was like
how many horsepower is it?
I think it was over 500 horsepower.
How fast does it go?
That I had it up to over 180 at one point.
180?
Yeah,
wow.
I don't recommend that. And that scared the shit out of me because it was a truck. And I never went that fast again, but I did race it a lot. And I modded it. I had, I blew it up, I think 2 times. Like, I shot a piston out of the block. So then I bought a new block, rebuilt it with bigger forged pistons, bored it out, stroked it out, put cams, bigger supercharger, this truck was a fucking nightmare for expenses to make it go really fucking fast.
How much did that car cost brand new?
I think my initial loan was for 28 or 30,000. I was making 50 to 60 selling doors and windows on commission at Lowe's. So my car payment, I remember it being right around $500 or $600 a month. My insurance, because I was getting so many speeding tickets, raked up to like $400 to $500 a month because of speeding tickets.
It's more than your car payment.
It was almost equal to the car payment. And then like I was modifying it while working at Lowe's, not making as much money. So I was putting it on credit cards, which I don't recommend. So I racked up about 20,000 in debt on credit cards. And then it blew up again for the second time. And then I had to rebuild it again. So naturally I want to make it better. So this time I had to ask my dad for help because I was broke.
How much does it cost to like rebuild the engine on a car like that?
It was like 5 to 6. It was like, between 5 to 10K, depending on like with labor and like, it takes its time too. Like, so like I would not have my truck for like a month or 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, also like, we didn't have Uber back then. So I was like calling like rides or like begging my friends, paying for like, come get me, do this. And then we did the, so I fixed it for the last time. My dad did take a small personal loan out to help me. And this was like, I was like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I was about to turn pro on my BMX bike. So I thought I just quit my job at Lowe's because that seemed like the smart thing to do. Well, what happens when you quit your job at Lowe's and you don't really have a whole lot of money saved? Well, I had about 15 grand saved when I quit my job at Lowe's. And that was because I cashed out my 401k, which another financial regret, that would be worth a lot more today if I didn't cash that out back then. But
I cashed mine out.
Yeah, I truly don't believe in 401ks anymore.
I didn't dump it into the car though. I dumped it into real estate. And it was the best decision I ever made.
Much better decision with your money. Me, that went to just paying for living and then the car. And then I eventually couldn't pay the credit cards anymore. So I let them go to collections, and then I couldn't pay my dad back anymore. Yeah. So he got mad at me. And then I went and I couldn't pay the truck because I was running out of money and I wasn't making enough money. I was still making money. Like I wasn't a deadbeat sitting at home not making money. Like I was training athletes on BMXers on the side for a couple $100 here. I was trying to sell a BMX training DVD on the internet. I was like, you know, fucking installing doors and windows with a construction worker on the side. Like I was doing everything I could to make money. It just wasn't enough because I had dug this hole, and I ended up like, I never missed a car payment like on that truck. So I took the car back to the credit union, which is GT Federal Credit Union. This is like 15 years ago. So I was like, hey, I can't afford the truck. And here's the keys. I read up about voluntarily repossessing. I already had 2 cards go to collections already with my credit. So I knew my credit was fucked as it was at this point. So I'm like, might as well add a repo to it because in 7 years, it's going to reset itself.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of my mindset, you know, like, I don't think that might, you know, people will be like, that's probably not the best mindset, but I was like, I've made some mistakes. I'm willing to accept these consequences and I'm going to pay for everything with cash from now on.
Wow.
Like, but the guy was really cool. Like the guy was like, well, have you tried to sell it? I said, I've been trying to sell this truck for like months. It's so modified. It's only going to go to somebody who wants a race truck and who can afford at the time. I wasn't trying to, I think I owed like 15,000 on the loan. Like I paid it halfway down. Like, so it wasn't even in the red. It still had like equity because it was a performance truck.
Just no one wanted to buy it.
Just nobody wanted to buy it because it was so modified. Well, the guy gave me 3 months and he was just like, can you do it in 90 days? Like I can put the 90 days on the end of the loan for you. And I was like, that would be amazing. Thank you. And I was able to sell it. And the reason I was able to sell it was because my dad ironically bought me a flip cam, which was like these little video cameras that used to plug in the computer. And I did a walk around of my truck and I talked about what was done to it. And then I posted it on a forum, an SVT Lightning forum. These forums were the way you talked to people back then. And it sold within 2 weeks.
Wow. Imagine if you would have just done that from the jump.
I couldn't afford a camera.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was broke. Like,
how much do you think you sunk into that car total?
I mean, I've talked about this a couple times, you know, just to help people, like, don't buy cars you can't afford. I think all in all, it was like 70 grand. Like it was like the 30 for the initial truck, the 20 or 20,000 in credit cards, like the personal loan, plus the insurance, like, and I did own it for like 3 years. So it's like, I had it for some time, like, but I sold it, and then you would think that I would learn from modifying cars, but I immediately bought like a 92 Honda Civic, and I went to town on that again with my school loans. Yeah.
What are you driving now?
Right now I have a 2010 Porsche Cayenne with a 3-inch lift and 32-inch tires, and I like cars. I like unique cars.
Yeah.
So,
how did you lose your driver's license for a year? Was that through the truck?
So the truck started.
Was that the 180 story?
Yeah. So the truck started my obsession with, like, my Ford F-150 Lightning started my obsession with street racing every Saturday night. I wasn't a big drinker. Like, so I do credit myself to finding an alternative activity to then drinking away my 20s. So I started, I found out that there was this underground street racing scene, and every Saturday night you would go out and race and you would win money if you bet. So I started racing it started with my truck, and then it got, obviously the truck, like I wanted to get rid of it, but then I still wanted something cheaper. And I was in college at the time and working at Lowe's. So like, I still had, like, I didn't quit my job lately. There was like was it a Civic? I don't remember if I had the Civic after the truck or before the truck. That's how old I am right now. But anyways, I bought a 92 Honda Civic. It cost me, I think, $4,000 to buy the car. I bought it cash. It's like the first car I bought cash. It was a beater. It had like nothing in it. There was no really, I stripped out all the interior. I put in 2 race seats, took out the AC, took out the heater. I bought my first motor, which was a 92 Integra GSR motor. I put that in the car. I put 150 shot of nitrous on the car. I lowered it, and I would go out every weekend and I would race Corvettes. And
that's why you would whoop on
them?
And
I would not all the time, like, because word gets around, you know. But like I literally treated it like a side hustle. Like I would like spend like a couple $100 every weekend racing people, and like some weekends I would lose, some weekends I would win.
What's the fastest you ever drove that car?
The Civic did a solid it went over 150 pretty easy. I did. Wow. There was never really a reason to take it higher than that.
What felt more secure driving fast, 150 in the Civic or 180 in the Ford?
150 in the Civic by far. It was
Really?
lower to the ground. It was not as, the truck was like wobbly. The Civic was much more stable. But my Civic was, again, you know, it had coilover suspension. It was set up to race. Like it was not like I broke my leg riding my bike, like because I was a Pro BMX racer at the time. So I broke my leg riding my bike, and my mom had to drive it to work because I couldn't drive stick because I broke my left tib fib. So I couldn't use the clutch. So we switched cars, and she hated it because it rode like a skateboard. It was like loud. There was no air. I mean, I live in Florida. It's 100 degrees in the summer.
Yeah.
Like windows down, air. There was a radio. Like it had like speakers, but there was no boxes around the speakers. There was just speakers like mounted. But it had a carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber trunk lid.
What'd your fiance, girlfriend at the time think of that car?
Well, so after I lost, so the Civic led me to losing my license for a year. I got 32 points in a year on my license.
Wow. What's normal? Like, what do you get for a speeding ticket? How many
24 and 48 get your license for a year.
Okay.
Like that. I believe
so
that's
if I got a speeding ticket, how many points would that be?
roughly 4. Like, it depends on how fast you're going.
So this is a lot. You're getting a speeding ticket every month.
It was, I mean, there was a time it was like 2 or 3 a month.
Wow.
Ironically, none of them were racing. It was just driving to work or like late for something. But the car, it was a magnet.
Yeah.
Like it was loud. It was like, you could see it. Like it was like, you know, it was just a magnet for cops to look at. And, you know, but yeah, there was, you know, the average ticket's 3 to 4 points. Now I wouldn't recommend street racing because street racing is like a felony now. Like Fast and Furious really changed between Fast and Furious coming out on Instagram, like they just kind of destroyed the whole scene. Because like cops can now follow you. Like it used to be like it was like forums and like text messages. Like you didn't know where the races, you got texted and you show up. And it was like, and then you race. And then like if a cop was in the area, like people had police scanners. Like it was a crazy scene. Like it was like, there was times when like the Civic, like it was so low that I could park it behind trucks and stuff. Like I would literally have a black tarp in the back of my car that I would back it into like small places. I'd pull the tarp over the car. Cause if you got caught racing, you're probably going to go to jail. Like it was starting to get serious. Like, so like I would put the black tarp over the car. I would like lock the alarm and I'd just walk away and I'd leave my car.
Wow.
And I'd come back and get it like a day later.
That's crazy.
Like, and I did that probably 5 or 6 different times racing my car. But now it's like, like people are like, they showcase the races on the internet and like the cops just show up at your door and they arrest you. Like it's way worse now. I would not recommend this, but you could get away with a lot back then because the internet wasn't as evolved as it is now. So like, but that's how I lost my license. But I never actually stopped driving. That was the thing that was funny because I was a Pro BMX racer. They allow you to get a work permit. I couldn't drive past 8 p.m. But what I had figured out was I just put my bike in the back of my car and I left it there. And if I ever got pulled over, I literally had a legit card that said I was a professional BMX racer. And I would just say that I was training.
Yeah, that's smart, man.
So like I wouldn't, which actually, I then found the party scene because like now I couldn't race my car. So I was like, hey, what are my friends doing that weren't street racers? They were all going to like, they were going to the club. And then I was like, so like, you know, I will say that was the transition.
Dude, that when you were telling me the car story reminds me of the craziest car story I ever had. I was in college. I was probably like 20, 21. I think it was like Halloween night. I was with buddies. We were at like a bar or some sort of party. I remember it was raining, late night. I was a passenger in this, like my buddy's like 4-seater Celica, Toyota Celica. And we lived in this like 6-bedroom house with like 6 roommates. We were all like in college having fun. We're driving back 2:00 in the morning after the bar is closed. It's raining out and it's like a windy road to get back. And he's driving fast, flips the car. And there's 4 of us in it, flips it on its side right in front of like the neighbor's house about a half mile down the road.
That's
and
wild.
None of us are hurt, but like the car is stuck on its side. And we're like, hey, let's get out. We got a dip. So we left the car there and we ran home. And then we come back the next day, like around like noon, and the car is just chilling there. Just literally just chilling there. Called a tow truck, had it towed out of there. And there was a little bit of body damage, of course, but he got away scot-free, no DUI. The neighbors never said anything. It just like was like this on a tree stump, basically in their front yard. I don't even know if they were home.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess like there's like, I've always been that like, I don't want to say like adrenaline personality, but like, you know, BMX racers, like we jump big stuff. Like, you know, I didn't do tricks. I just raced. So like it was fast. And like, as my pro career at BMX progressed, like I would have to, you had to be a little off to like, you know, to race some of the, and jump some of the things that we were having. That's why I ended up ultimately quitting. Like the payout wasn't worth the fact that I could literally like kill myself. Yeah. Like some of the jumps were, I mean, if you look at BMX racing right now, like some of the tracks are crazy. Like, you know, and they were getting, you know, they were going to even the Olympics, like BMX is in the Olympics, like it's a massive track. And like first place was like, you know, if you, on an average race, it was like $5,000. And I was like, I don't want to, like, this isn't worth it. Like, cause I had a few pretty, like I tore my ACL, I broke my tib fib, I broke my wrist, like multiple concussions. Like as I got older and I was like, I'm making more working at Lowe's, you know, and I don't have to get hurt. Yeah. Like not saying this is like a glamour and no girl gave a shit that I was a professional BMX racer. They just want security and money at this point. Like as you get older, like, so I was like, okay, you know, and that was like, I believe that whole part of my personality is why, like, you know, I just go all in on things. And that's like what led me ultimately to like, when I started TikTok, like I was like, this is it. Like, and if it's not it, I'll figure it out. But like, you know, right before lockdown, I was just like, people are going to want to know how to do this, especially educators, because I had been on the internet long enough to know like most people are late. And like, I looked at, I was like, yo, I'm like a year early. Yeah, you were. I was like, and then I looked at like, okay. And like all my mistakes in the past, like even when I was doing well at YouTube, I was too late. Like not saying, I don't want to say you're too late to start a YouTube channel. Like that's the wrong, but like it was significantly easier 5 years ago. Yeah. Like everybody can agree. So I'm like, shit, it's hard now. I said, so I'm like, I'm not going to start a YouTube channel now because like when I was like, I don't want to do the fashion dating anymore because of my, you know, my now fiance and like my daughter. And like, I'm like, it's not me anymore. Like, I was like, well, what do I do? Like, and then it was like Instagram, but I was late to Instagram too. Like, so I did mess around with Instagram and like I grew, you know, it's like 10,000 followers and then got stuck there for like a year or two, like everybody does. And that's because I was making niche content. I was teaching content production and I was like, well, what do I do now? And then TikTok came and I was just like, now's a chance to reinvent myself on the internet. And I like vertical video because like, for whatever reason, I like turning my camera to the side. Like whereas everyone's like, nope, horizontal video is it. I was like, nah, I like it when you turn vertical. Yeah. And then it was like all in on TikTok. And then the non-niche videos things came because I then started with more content videos because it was easy for me. It's like all the people, like, it's like realtors make real estate videos because it's easy for them. It's natural, you know, but eventually I was starting to run out of shit. And I was like, fuck, like I've only made like 100 videos and I'm running out of shit. Like, what do I talk about now? You got to switch up the game, man. Yeah. And then like the breakthrough video though, was like, it's still pinned on my TikTok profile. It's one of my favorite videos to date was how to go out by yourself to make friends. Yeah. And that is exactly what I did when that is a good video. Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about going to the bar. Going to the bar. And, like I literally did that with my new way of dressing when I was a single guy and my Kristen had dumped me. That was what I did. That. And, I suggest all listeners to go check out Ryan on Instagram at Ryan Magin, Magin. Go check that video out. That is a good video. My man, I appreciate you coming out. Yeah, thank you for having me. A pleasure and an honor interviewing you, man. And I'm a big fan of everything you're doing and looking forward to following your journey. And you'll be at the meetup tonight, man. Looking forward to networking and maybe shooting some videos with you tonight. Yeah, no, we're going to film some videos tonight. I love it. Let's have fun with it, man. Thanks for having me. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Peace.